Oh, yeah. Everyone's real happy then.
Do I detect a note of sarcasm?
Are you kidding me? This baby is off the charts. Why?
Oh, a sarcasm detector. Oh, that's a really useful invention.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. And we've got some news here, Doc. I mean, you're the Marvel aficionado. I got to start over. Okay. Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. We've got some interesting things going on in the crowdfunding world, Doc. You're normally the X-Men historian, the Marvel aficionado, but here we're going to be talking about crowdfunding comics. Did you know that there's a new crowdfunding site that is specifically for comic books?
As a matter of fact, I do, because I watched Marz fail at it once already.
I sent you an article about it. It's called Zoop. I can't think of a worse name. Like, it certainly doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't, let's go to Zoop. It's, I don't know. It sounds like a kid's slime product.
It does. It sounds like something that Nickelodeon would have been releasing in 1994.
Double Dare. Nice.
Yeah. Like if this would have, if there was a streaming platform for 1994 Nickelodeon, it would be called Zoop. This is, first of all, I mean, we can debate the merits of whether or not there is a need for another comic book crowdfunding platform. And I'm sure we'll get to
All right, Doc, let me explain to you the need for this. All right. This needs to be the go-to crowdfunding platform for comic books. So then Kickstarter and then Indiegogo drop crowdfunding for comic books and force you into this one. And that way they can start gatekeeping again. Because people have gotten around Camilla Zhang and others, and now they need to build a better mousetrap. That way that they can exclude people that want to publish their own comic books.
So this is Camilla Zhang just building her fiefdom again. After she got thrown out of the first one because she was terrible at her job. So yeah, I mean,
isn't that the impression you get that's the reason this is here?
You know what?
We need to make it unnecessary to do comic books on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. They can drop those categories, make everybody come here, and that way we can start gatekeeping again and keeping people out of comic books again.
I feel like that is their goal here. Whether or not it will be successful,
that's the long-term goal.
Yeah, that is the long-term goal. We built our little gated community. God forbid, whenever the Image guys showed up back in 1993, they found a way around, the gate kept portion of the big two, and were able to take control of their destiny. And then the typical gatekeepers wormed their way into Image and ruined that. So now they needed to find a new way. So they were in Kickstarter,
they got themselves kicked out.
Yeah, they did.
They were to the curb.
Yeah, they did, because they started hurting Kickstarter's bottom line. They were losing the money. So they all got fired. And then there was the great, kind of, hey, everybody, you need to hire Camilla Zhang to run your, if you're a pro.
Gave her a bunch of money. And then she quit the campaign before it was over.
Yeah. She basically gets it feels like it's fucking protection racket money to Camilla Zhang just to hide, that, you're a big 2 pro. Well, you do hire Camilla Zhang, right? Well, for what?
Yeah.
You just need to hire her. This is a real nice business you got here. Be a shame if something happened to it. That's who Camilla Zhang functions as. And now she's got her own store.
I'm not completely against the idea of having your own crowdfunding mechanism only for comic books, where that's the primary source, and that would be, people will be able to go in there and know exactly what they're looking for. But my problem is you're bringing in people that are completely unsuccessful. One person that was summarily rejected, kicked out of Kickstarter. They were hired by Scott Snyder and didn't even finish his campaign, even though, from what I'm told, she was paid top dollar to do it. So they're not exactly committed to the cause of crowdfunding comics. And we know that they are gatekeeping at Kickstarter to keep people out of there for crowdfunding purposes. We've also get like, who is it? Chris Ryall from IDW.
I mean, imagine a guy
IDW has been moving money hand over fist and driving customers' way. The entire Chris Ryall regime did it.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Ryall has been like in full failure mode for like the last 8 to 10 years.
Well, that tells you how bad IDW was because they had to beg him to come back.
Yeah.
After they fired him for being incompetent.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Ryall is a legitimate clown in this industry. And, so you got somebody that failed at, this is a cavalcade of failures. Because Chris Ryall somebody show me a single thing he's accomplished in his career. I mean, he's probably accomplished something, but
listen,
anything that actually made money.
Strike Force canceled before the first issue got released. That's
hard. I mean,
you know how hard that is to get your comic book line canceled before it launches.
It is. It's an accomplishment.
It's got to be some kind of record.
When you fail so hard that things get pre-canceled, that's some talent right there. You have to make an effort to fail that hard. And then
people
finally,
that you're paying for the right to publish their comics come in and intervene and tell you actually can't do this anymore.
Yeah. Like
you're giving us money, but we're telling you no.
Yeah, we will sooner not take your money than allow you to continue doing this. No, that's he's brand cancer, and I don't expect it to get any better at Zoop, because it's not. I mean, he's nobody.
There's more people behind it, but those are the kind of the big names that stand out. But like I said, I'm not against the idea. If you got some people that knew about crowdfunding comic books, had been really successful, and knew how to go out there and do an engaging campaign and get the word out and really bring in, backers and really get the word out.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest.
Camilla Zhang ain't it, is all I'm saying. And Chris Ryall is certainly not it. And guess who else is not it, Doc? Ron Marz.
Oh God, the man that is perpetually nobody. The next time anybody buys a comic because Ron Marz's name is on the cover will be the first. I'm
sure there are Ron Marz fans out there, but I've never seen somebody go out of their way as hard as he has to literally turn off anybody that might go to whatever his social media site is, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, and just say, please, I'm an absolute dickhead. If you stay here, I want you to know that I hate your guts and I never want you to buy my comic book. That's Ron Marz in a nutshell.
Well, it is. But that was, I mean, we still have him to blame for Gail Simone having a career.
Listen, Gail Simone was a perfectly good writer once upon a time.
Are you
She wrote really good dialogue back in the day. Yes, I am certain. I've actually read her comic books, Doc.
You know what? I have read.
And Ron Marz did some good work on Green Lantern at one time.
That's the reason why we have Gail Simone. But regardless, look, this Ron Marz is he's that guy that he's a first ringer. He answers the phone on the first ring and accepts very low page rates and just writes. Nothing he writes is memorable. The most memorable thing he's ever done was Kyle Rayner.
He's the LeVar Burton of comic books. You remember him once. He did something once back in the day, but then when you find out who he is now, you're like, I can't believe I ever liked that guy.
No, I think he's more the Will Wheaton of comic books.
Oh, that's rough.
He did one thing that some people liked. Most people
did
really
more
hated.
than one thing, Doc. First off, let's not undersell it.
I understand. Okay, one thing that some people liked and most people didn't. He
did two things. He did Stand By Me and he did Star Trek.
Yes, I'm talking about what Ron Marz did.
Ron Marz did a couple of really good Green Lantern things.
Yeah, he did one thing that a couple of people really that some people really liked and some people really hated, with changing Hal Jordan for Kyle Rayner and turning Hal Jordan evil. But beyond that, I mean, name me one thing I can think of like two things that Ron Marz has written in the intervening time that are actually memorable enough for me to remember that he wrote them without actually having to go and look and be like, wait, who the hell wrote that? Oh, Ron Marz wrote that? That was okay. It was just kind of boring. You think
he was Alan fucking Moore, the way he portrays himself and handles himself?
He thinks he's Alan Moore. That's the problem. Whereas
he doesn't realize he's like Dan Slott, but less successful.
He's a monumentally less successful Dan Slott.
Dan Slott had Spider-Man.
Yeah. Ron Marz is doing like mini series of Cyberforce. And with friggin' Pat Lee.
It does tell you that how maybe Camilla Zhang and Chris Ryall might not have their finger on the pulse of the comic book writer or readers when they said, you know what, we need to invest in Ron Marz.
Yeah,
everybody loves this guy.
Well, I think what it comes down to is their Rolodex of established talent to appeal to. Nobody that they do have the phone number and email address of that's any good wants to
even
work
Aubrey
with their
Sitterson's not answering the phone when Chris Ryall calls anymore.
Exactly.
He's gotten the Chris Ryall stink off of him. Chris Ryall, when he was the boss at IDW, if he was a friend and a good boss, would have set Aubrey's down and be like, listen, dude, you're fucking up here. You're on the G.I. Joe comic. This is what you need to do. You're going a little too far.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, well, thanks for the direction. He said, you're not gone far enough. Let's see if we can get you ejected from comic books by being a complete asshole and ruining characters.
Yeah.
And he's had to rehab his image for like 4 years since then.
And he's actually done a pretty good job of it. I kind of don't mind current day Aubrey
likable now.
Yeah. But no, like, look, Camilla Zhang and Chris Ryall they probably have the phone numbers and contacts of a lot of wildly successful professionals in the comic book industry. None of them are answering the phone. The best that they
got their Heather Otto's Rolodex.
Yeah, they got the fact is, look, whenever either of them calls, everybody sits there, especially after the Scott Snyder fiasco with Camilla Zhang. They look at the caller ID and see Camilla Zhang's phone number, and they send you to voicemail.
They got like B. Clay Moore's on the line. Like, I got this great pitch.
Yeah, like you got like Richard Pace.
Richard Pace, yes, the cover artist.
Yeah,
he's like a woman when they take a selfie from the same angle, so they don't look quite as heavy as they are.
Or
when you finally see Richard Pace in all this glory, yeah, you're like, he's a squatter.
Yeah, he's like 5'4",
200.
So, yeah, and I mean, I say this is a guy that needs to lose about 40 myself.
Listen, Doc, I've seen your selfies. You don't use the same angle so that no one can see the extra chin. It's there.
Yeah. No, I just have a giant beard to hide the extra chin. But no, like seriously, nobody, especially after the Scott Snyder fiasco with Camilla Zhang getting paid very well, ditching out on actually doing any real work on the project.
I don't know how much work she did. I just know that she didn't finish it.
Yeah. From my understanding is a lot of her was going to be on the actual arranging fulfillment and all that stuff side. And she never got around to that. Yeah. A lot of the logistics. She's not there as an editor. She's not there. What is she there for? What is her skill set is probably getting things printed and fulfilled.
No, I don't know why she even needed that, because Nocturna's
but
being distributed by Image. Like, I think he just wanted to hire her so he could say he did it and supported her after she got fired. That blew up in his face.
It did. But regardless of, she ditched out, and everybody saw that was kind of just a giant waste of money and time. And I don't
let's not forget Chris Ryall ditched out on IDW after they came back and brought him back after he embarrassed himself.
Yeah.
Once he saw they were sinking ship.
Exactly. So you got a bunch of people that have absolutely no loyalty to you, and then they want you to use their platform. Honestly, at this point,
it's called Zoop.
I mean, yeah. First of all, it's a platform called Zoop. It's a no-name third platform.
Doesn't scream comic book crowdfunding, I can tell you that.
No, it really doesn't. And then, you already have a history of not exactly seeing projects all the way through, and now you want us to, and then leaving with the money after you've gotten paid. So you want us to jump onto your crowdfunding platform. At this point, what guarantee does any creator have that they aren't going to get royally screwed on this? I mean,
listen, if they wanted this to be successful, they would have gone out there and given money to Brian Pulido. They would have gone out there and given money to EBS. They would have gone out there and given money to people that are proven commodities in comic book crowdfunding. They went out and invested in Ron Marz. And that tells you the business and comic book acumen behind Zoop, Camilla Zhang, and Chris Ryall. It just ain't there, Doc. This thing is beyond doomed to fail.
Oh yeah, it's this is full on failure to launch. Their launch title, did it even make its goal? I mean, that Ron Marz,
a couple days left.
Okay, but that Ron Marz book, nobody knows what it is. Nobody gives a damn. And it's got Rick Leonardi on art. I mean, for Christ's sake, you should be able to make that work. Except for the fact that, I'll be honest, Rick Leonardi, he's not exactly the biggest household name. And Ron Marz is just generic comic book writer B. Well, Matt, I mean, in addition to the fact that he's comic repellent and customer repellent, he's generic comic writer B. Like, that's just it. He's a nobody.
Doc, I want you to support this book and tell me how Zoop does for you. I don't have faith in the platform, but I want you to try it out for me. Can you be our correspondent for Zoop on Thinking Critical?
You know what? Why the hell not? I like setting my money on fire. I go to strip clubs. It's the same thing.
Exactly. I don't know, buddy. This is it's funny. I'm sorry if I was making fun of people that you respect. I'm not sorry. Actually, it happens. We can have different opinions. Doc, I'll let you have the last word on Zoop, Camilla Zhang, Chris Ryall, and the Brain Trust that decided Ron Marz was going to be the front man for a crowdfunding venture.
Yeah, this is Nickelodeon's 1994 streaming service, except for somehow being done as comic. I'm wondering whether or not if you hit the goal, green slime's going to fall down on you.
More than likely. All right, Doc. We'll see you next week. We're going to talk about X-Men again. You'll probably be on the aficionados and all that stuff.
Well, thank you, sir. See you soon.